Yeah, my audio is loud and clear, so I'm not sure if you guys can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Okay, good evening, folks, and welcome to our live stream this evening. We're delighted to be here, certainly not under these circumstances, but sorry, I'm hopeful that we can have our guests join in with us here shortly, just having a few little technical things that we're ironing out. I'm just really, this is such a difficult discussion that we're going to be having this evening. Essentially, we're here to talk about a situation that has been making the social media rounds in terms of just a lot of discussion, in particular on Facebook, about what has been Hi. Hi, Mario. We're live. Just give me 1 second. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. I was just kind of giving our audience a little bit of background information on what we're discussing this evening. So essentially, we are here because, we've got a situation on our hands with 3 rescue dogs that has gone absolutely viral on social media. We're trying to get the background information in terms of what transpired, what happened. And Mario, you've already got like 20 something people logged in. You've got a lot of support here this evening. People have been reading what's been going on, and they're curious to know all of the details. So we certainly want to go through some of the details in terms of what has transpired. I do see a number of comments that are coming in as well to the program, and we'll certainly give you an opportunity to respond to some of those. For the most part, people are just sending positive thoughts and their love to you during this difficult time. So can we just start at the beginning? Let's give us a little bit of information. We know that they're rescue dogs. How did you come in possession of the 3 dogs?
Poppy was with us for a little bit longer. She came from the Humane Society. She's been with us for just under 2 years. We adopted her with another dog that was Bondi, a male German Shepherd, and Poppy was a Labrador mix.
Okay.
And then we got the other 2, Karma and Dusty. Karma was a rescue dog. She came from a litter that were breeding pit bulls. She was the only female, so we kind of wanted to stop the cycle with regards to the breeding of it, as she was the only female. So we brought her in, funny enough, around about February. She was a gift for my girlfriend for Valentine. So Dusty came a little bit after that. He was the last of the litter and was kind of left by himself, and he kind of snuck his way into our heart. So we adopted him, and him being the 4th and the last one out of all of the dogs. And Dusty and Karma were just over a year old now. So they've been with us for quite some time.
So these are relatively, one dog, you said February. That's February of this year or last year?
Oh, no, both of the dogs were from the same litter. So Karma and Dusty were from the same litter of dogs.
So, relatively young dogs and good health, I'm sure.
That's correct.
So let's fast forward a little bit. How did this situation start with the police and the Department of Environment?
Oh, yes. So sorry about that. That was a really important call. My apologies.
Yes, that's okay.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. So, yeah. So I was just wondering in terms of how this all began. Like, how did we get here? And we have Jessica has joined the conversation. Good evening, Jessica.
Sorry.
Oh, this is Diane. Yeah.
Oh, Diane. Sorry. No, your name is coming up as Jessica. I'm guessing that's just your.
My phone wasn't working. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. Right. So Diane is your girlfriend, and just for the benefit of our audience, Diane is actually in Canada at the moment.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. So Diane, Mario is just kind of filling us in on how you guys came to have these dogs to begin with. And he explained how, they were part of rescue dogs, essentially. Mm-hmm. And that, in fact, the one female that you had, it was a situation where she, came out of a litter where people had been breeding them. And this is one of the things that, a lot of people in this community is trying to stop from happening. Yeah. Because unfortunately, there's too many dogs on the island and not enough loving homes for them to go into. Yeah. So thank you for joining in the conversation. Can we just go to the beginning? Where did it start in terms of how did the police contact you? How did they get your dogs? Where did all of this begin?
Well, it all really actually began on the 18th of February, of October last year, so 2018. We stayed at another household, which was on 81 Dodge Ridge Crescent. And our dogs, two of our dogs were what we thought at the time, and we thought that they were lost. So this was Karma and Poppy. We then found out that they were at the DOA, and then when we went to the DOA, we actually found out that these dogs, that our dogs were being held, and that they wouldn't be released until we made the certain changes within our household to have it fenced. So in that time, we did that. We made it, and the dogs were returned the following day. That was our first time that I ever had met anyone from the DOA. In November we then moved to this location, and on the next time that we heard anything was on when I received a knock on my door, and that was Eric, who was there with the police. Mm-hmm. 3 police officers. There was 1 DOA vehicle, and my apologies. Just sorry, I got to switch this off quickly.
Yeah, sure.
I'll put it on silent. Sorry. And that day, I came out of the household. Was shocked to see that there were 3 police officers. Eric did come to the door, and then when I looked at the gate, the picture that was actually posted on your website was the police officer with one of our dogs at the front gate. Eric and the police officers then told me that they were there to collect the rest of the dogs, as there had been a number of instances, to all which I was unaware of. Eric stated a lot of things that someone had come off of a bike, to which I had no proof. There were no statements listed by anyone with regards to this. After this, Eric asked me to get my dogs along with the police officers. They told me to give my dogs, 2 of which, like I said, were on the property, and 1 was already in their possession. Mm-hmm. I was then told to assist even in on this. And to be honest, I don't know anybody, in my personal experience, if a police officer says for you or tells you to do something, you don't disobey that. And that's exactly how and what I thought was meant to happen. Because of the previous experience, I did not once think that the dogs would be taken. I thought we'd be given the opportunity to amend, like how we did the first time in the first house, towards, but the way that they came across was very threatening, and as in that I need to do this. And once the dogs were actually inside the vehicles, then Mr. Eric didn't hand me a piece of paper. He asked me for the breeds of the dogs. He asked me.
So Mario, let me just pause you for one quick second, because I want to understand this. So the police, really the animal control officer, and I think technically he falls under the police department, but I guess he works with the Department of Agriculture as well, right? So I think he has police powers, so to speak.
To my knowledge, I was never I've never been made aware of that. Like I said, I was not given any forms of documents to say that he is a police officer. I have heard through some people that he was a police officer, but that he's an officer of DOA. So Eric, to my knowledge, didn't show me a badge stating that he is with the Cayman Islands Police Force. And no, the other gentlemen were police, and he came to me and represented himself as the DOA.
Okay, so we're going to clarify that. I've just asked someone that question so I can get some clarity on it. So Eric Bodden came to you, whether he's DOA or police, he has the authorization as the animal control officer, obviously, to confiscate dogs. So he came and took initially 1 dog, and that the reason why they told you that they were taking that 1 dog was for you to have that dog fixed. Is that correct?
No.
No,
not to be fixed at all. There was no talk of the dogs being fixed. So once the
So essentially, they made allegations that the dog had chased someone on a bicycle.
Well, okay, so there was no allegation that they chased someone on the bicycle. At this particular moment in time, they told me that he had told me that we have received previous warnings to regards to the dogs being let out of the house and causing disturbances during this time, and that is the reason why they're taking them.
But had you received previous warnings?
No. See, this is what they're taking into effect. They're taking into the warning or the alterations that were made at my previous property as my warnings. At this particular location, what they're saying is where the disturbances are, where people have been attacked, and that was a statement that I read on Instagram too, was that the dogs were seized due to how they had attacked somebody. And this is what I found really weird. And the second thing that I didn't ask the police, I asked them, is this a criminal matter? Or if somebody was indeed injured, if this is a criminal matter, why am I not being served with any type of paperwork from you as the police? And they said no, that they are actually there to stop any disturbances or altercations that I could have with the DOA. So the way that it's perceived in my eyes is that they are there as backup to make sure that nothing happens, and then whatever the DOA or Eric says will transpire and happen. And that is exactly what happened.
I mean, that's so incredibly unbelievable, because if someone comes to you and says your dog has been attacking people, or you've been warned about your dog before, certainly there should be some
proof, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would expect them to have something.
I was lucky enough or fortunate enough yesterday to receive the statement from the DOA with regards to the amount of days and the times and the things that transpired. And one of these, which came from a news source, that the person involved, the supposed person that was injured on the bicycle, has not made a statement, has not come forward that apparently they received minor injuries, and the dogs laid no physical harm to that particular person.
What I don't understand at all is when people say attacked, where has anyone in this been bit or scratched? What is barking attacking? Is a dog barking at you at all in any sense attacking anybody? Because dogs bark. That's what they do. They intimidate if they bark at you. If you're just scared of a dog and they come and they run and they bark at you, is that attacking? It's just these people are just scared of dogs.
Right. And how did you, I mean, again, this could theoretically, because no one has given them a police statement, no one has actually identified your dogs to say, yes, those are the dogs. Could this very well be a situation of mistaken identity?
Well, we're not sure at all, because the allegations and the occasions that happened were not brought forward to us. There was we've been told, including on that statement, that there was an incident where they came to a household and they spoke to a gentleman, but cannot say who this person was, cannot say that they cannot give us written proof of this incident, cannot give us a signature of this incident, and hence why Eric is saying this was my third strike. He's saying that there was the previous house, the second time, and then on this particular day where they just apparently did a random drive-by, but according to the post, it was an actual operation that was done as due to the amount of complaints within the neighborhood. Sorry.
Right. So Eric has said to you, and I just want to clarify this, because in a little bit I'm going to share some information, because I actually have some personal knowledge with the animal control law because of several situations that I've had. So his position is, I've just confirmed that he actually works for the Department of Agriculture. Correct. So he's not a police officer. So I just wanted to clarify that for anyone who's listening. So his position is that they have some sort of a 3-strike rule, so that when you have been warned on 3 occasions about a dog, they will just take your dog and put your dog to sleep. That's what he has essentially said to you.
That's what he said, yes. And the thing that is so disheartening in on this is that on the day once the dogs had been put into the vehicle, I was then told that I would not get them back. And after me signing the form, which I don't like, what I'm being told now was probably my gravest mistake. And I hate the fact that I actually took the time didn't take the time to read through the document. And I will fully accept that and acknowledge that. But
when you're being intimidated by police, how could you even
with
go
3 people, what else? This is what I'm trying to say. What other choice was I given by the DOA? It's this thing that I surrendered them. I did not surrender my dogs. They came there with an intention to take my dogs. That is what I call a seizure and seized, not a surrender.
Well, if you look at the report, it says
the report was exactly that. Yes, you're right.
Not man surrenders dogs. So, and then they want to all of a sudden they want to go and take that back and update it.
So and
wow.
So to add to the story, I then on the same day, once they had taken the dogs, I was messaging Eric frantically, and then I met Eric around about 12:30, 1 o'clock at the actual DOA offices. Once they had brought the dogs in, this all transpired at about 8:30 in the morning, or 8 to 8:30 in the morning. I then went up to the offices, where Eric told me that there will be 2 possible scenarios, but that I wouldn't get my dogs back until these situations were dealt with. One, because I told him that the dogs were going to be adopted within a week to 2 weeks in Canada. I did not mention Ontario, like how they stated on the clause, and we would be stupid enough to think that we could even do that. Diane herself is from Ontario, and we cannot actually do that. We understand the laws, and that we're going to Calgary. He said that the dogs would only be released once they were at the airport. So they would not come back to us, but once we identified the household that they were going to, that's where they would be going.
And the thing that they all like to forget, like the news and like the paper, is that they promised that they were going to keep them safe until they either go on a plane or Mario takes a criminal charge. They gave us those 2 options, and none of euthanization was never any of those options at all. And 2 weeks prior to even them being seized, I had put a post on a Kijiji ad in Canada to rehome my dogs. On the 28th of February, I had posted it for them to be rehomed in Canada. And I hate the fact that everyone just likes to forget the promises that they made, and the fact that they've ignored our calls, and the fact that there was no communication whatsoever in helping us, and the things that I've done to at least try to get them safely here. I've had people who are willing in Canada to rehome them. It was ready, and this was 2 weeks before they were even taken away by DOA.
Yeah. So in that, my second option was then court. So to own up to my responsibilities as the pet owner, which I said that I would gladly do. Eric was meant to get back to me the same day, which was a Thursday. I'd spoken to, Eric said that ultimately the decision is not with him, and that it would probably be with one of the veterinarians. I'm not sure if I'm able to mention the names here on the broadcast, but yes, I did go to the main office and try to speak to them. They did not allow me to come upstairs, but they spoke to me over the telephone, telling me that Eric is actually in charge of the case, and that Eric would carry out whatever steps that he needs to make. So
I get the sense, even at that point, they were already passing the buck, because Eric is saying, oh, the vets will make the decision. And then when you talk to them, they're saying, no, Eric will make the decision.
Yes. So I couldn't get a solidified answer. And then I was asking what the director was. And I was then told he's not in. And funny enough, I didn't know about this, but the director, I believe that there's an acting director. So because me saying the director, it was like, oh no, sorry, you know, I could have been told there is an acting director and his name is Brian Crinchlow. So I was unable to get a hold of him from that time. Thereafter, I sent Eric numerous amounts of messages, SMSs, phone calls. He didn't answer, not one. Up until the Thursday, we reached out to a number of people. We posted a couple of things. And at this time, the dogs were still, to our knowledge, we would believe that they were still alive. I called Eric on the Tuesday, and he eventually answered my call. This was early morning, 9 o'clock. I was at work. I asked him if he could give me an answer as to one of the two possible outcomes, which was either the adoption, because we were legit like ready to actually start sending the two puppies or the dogs up. And Eric then said, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you, but the dogs have been euthanized. And
forget to tell someone.
How do you forget to tell? I don't understand that. How do you forget to tell someone that you've killed their dog in a situation like this? I mean,
this is the most confusing thing about the whole incident. When after me trying to do all of the calling and slowly starting to understand that there was this document, the main document that everyone was saying that I surrendered the dogs. I can never contest that. And like I said, I now, because it was actually sent to me yesterday, but this document is what they're saying. The dogs then belonged to the Crown, that I have no right to them, that I handed over full responsibility and all rights to them as being the owners. And not just the DOA, this I was told as in the Crown. I was perplexed by that it didn't make any sense, that we had no entitlement or anything anymore, and that these dogs were then euthanized. We didn't get an exact time, but we presumed that it was the Tuesday morning. We then made a massive plea to at least see the dogs, to see them one last time. We asked if we could, if it was possible that we get them back to do a burial or a cremation, and we were told no, that this could never happen, and they've never had such a plea or cry before, and it's not a policy of the DOA. We still continued to fight up until today to find out. I went to the DOA once again. I called numerous amounts of times yesterday and today to find out that they were only open up until 2:30. I sent emails yesterday, and even with reaching out to the police, I only received confirmation from Mr. Crinchlow yesterday that it was too late for us to view the dogs, as the dogs had already been disposed of at the landfill.
Oh my God.
I've also emailed the governor of civil service.
So even with us reaching out,
nothing more but for us to be able to take their bodies to cremate them. And he said that he would message, I think, somebody in the ministry to at least give us that much, just to have them cremated. But I'm guessing that whatever they're hiding or whatever that they've done before that.
So we were actually told on Tuesday that the dogs were on ice, which gave us a bit of hope on Wednesday. We tried everything. We went out and we reached out to a lot of people, especially on social media. We responded to a lot of the comments that the police had made with regards to the way in which Eric did his job and then how they did it. And on Thursday, after the social media outcry, we noticed that the police then changed their statement from that the dog didn't actually attack anybody.
Wow.
That there were these occasions, I don't know if you've seen it, that there were these occasions that happened, like I said again, without any proof. Wow. There were no statements. There was one incident and it was at 81 Dodge Ridge, and where we rectified. And dude, what I can see from that first statement that was made by the police on social media, which was that they attacked people, the dogs were killed the next day.
Wow. So it looks like, how long, Mario?
The dogs were killed. Beg your pardon?
Sorry, Mario, how long did they actually have your dogs? I mean, you're kind of guessing when they put them down, but
yes, well, we haven't had any. I did get an email from the acting director, and I was not given an actual date as to when they were put down. From our last from the conversation that I have had from some of the veterinarians and from what do you call it? From the people at the DOA, is that the dogs were put down on Tuesday.
And how long did they have when did they originally take the dogs?
They took the dogs last week, Thursday. So they had them.
So it hasn't been a week.
No, it hasn't been a week.
Because I was just commenting, we have Selena who's commenting on social media, and she's had quite a few interesting questions. So she says here that Section 47 of the Animals Law provides that stray dogs seized shall be retained for a period of 7 days. If unclaimed, they may be sold or handed over to the DOA for destruction. If the owner comes forward, they'll pay the expenses for the detention and may be charged. And then she goes on to say that the proper procedure that DOA should have followed would have been to seize the animals, file charges with the court, and DOA under those circumstances had no right to destroy these dogs at all. Clearly, the owner claimed the seized animals regardless of the make-up surrender form, which has absolutely no legal basis under the animal law.
And that's what is hurting so much.
Wow.
That is what is killing us, because they didn't need to die. We followed everything. We've done the neutering, we've done the spading. We were prepared to get these dogs a home in Canada. They were our family, and we were still trying to give them a better life because we weren't able to do it due to our circumstances of trying to travel to Canada. Diane is currently completing her studying over there, and she was trying to get them to get to a better house and home.
Yeah.
But that's what we're trying to say. With the total disregard for them wanting to call us, with the total disregard to even speak to us. No one even said, "Hi, Mr. Mario or Mr. Manning, would you like at least to spend the last few days with them or hours with them? Would you like to walk them one last time before we actually do this?" This was the outcome that we came to. It's just like it was said, "Oh, I'm sorry, there's no human aspect to it," or even to them, that these dogs mattered to a lot of people, not even just us, even the prospect of a new home to other people. And they took that right away from us. They didn't know or understand what they meant to us, and they didn't even give an opportunity for us to say goodbye or anybody else.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but to me, it's an absolute abuse of power. When three police officers can come to you along with the DOA and then tell you to give your dogs and then put them down in a matter of 5 to 6 days, it is absolutely terrible. And another thing is that I must say, Poppy was a dog from the Humane Society. And Poppy, by law, should have actually been returned to the Humane Society. And she was deemed, and this is the thing, I'm not getting any pathology results, but she was also deemed a dangerous breed, and she was also put down. It is absolutely despicable the way that they've acted with us, and to be told that they've already been disposed at the incinerator after me requesting for their collars, at least some type of memory, and they were dumped. They were taken away. I don't know what else to say.
This is so shocking, Mario and Diane. And of course, I want to extend my condolences. And a lot of people listening to this are just absolutely shocked. Like, I cannot believe that this has happened. And, you know, what's amazing is a lot of people in this community have dogs that they don't care about. Obviously, you guys cared about these dogs, and you expressed that by, you know, the way that you communicated to this particular DOA officer, and, you know, even trying to get to the very top, the director of that agency, and talking to the police. All of those things demonstrate that you clearly cared about this dog. So the dogs. So I am flabbergasted and just really shocked that in spite of all of that, the decision was still made to put these dogs down and not even
the thing. That's why we keep on trying to refer to it. And you know, yesterday I was really disappointed, and I don't want to plagiarize anybody or make them say that, but
yeah,
I was from the newscast that I saw, it never mentioned our plea, not once, to see them again. It was focused on the statements and on the rights and whose paper and this and that. But our plea was, after we found them, was nothing else than to see the dogs again. And those statements that were released on Wednesday didn't mention that our dogs had been taken through to the landfill the previous day.
Wow.
We were told on Tuesday that the dogs were on ice. That was what the statement was, on ice. To find out today, which is Thursday, oh no, they'd already been.
Wow. And so this guy at DOA, Eric Bodden, says to you, oh, they've never had anyone be concerned enough about a dog that was euthanized to say, I would like my dog back, or I'd like to see my dog after you've euthanized it.
They said that they've never had such an instance or such a request, and they found it unusual that we would want to have our dogs either cremated or have to deal with the request of even seeing them thereafter. I mean, just to see them,
yeah,
it makes no sense. Like, why can't we see our dogs? They've been put down. They've followed. They've done. Why?
And how is that an unusual request? If you know that people have animals that they treat like family and they love their dogs, why would he think? I mean, he's supposed to be the animal welfare officer. Like, surely he's seen people that love their dogs before, I would hope, and that he would understand that.
And this is what Eric assured me. That exact process is that they're not in the business of just killing dogs. He told me that they weren't, and that's why he assured me that one of two of other situations would happen: the courts, or that they would be up for adoption.
Right.
No answer to that, and then the dogs were killed.
Wow.
And
I just want to share a little bit of information for the benefit of our audience.
Should have at least known that we love them.
Yeah. Debbie, I'm gonna talk to you just.
The last days in
fucking
place.
Diane, sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna speak to you in just a minute, Diane, because I want people to certainly understand how this has impacted you. But I do want to give a little bit of background information about my knowledge and experience, which leads me to believe that something is really amiss here, because I have had experience with the police. I have had experience with DOA on numerous occasions. Some years ago, we had a dog next door to us that attacked our small dog on 4 different occasions. And every single time we contacted the police, and we got they came in, they took your dogs, and they put your dogs down with no evidence, no police reports, nothing. We filed reports. You know, we had to call them 11 o'clock at night for them to come out while I rushed my dog to the vet to try to figure out if she had any serious injuries after being brutally attacked by this neighbor's dog. And the police did nothing until I actually emailed the governor at the time of the Cayman Islands and said, what is going on here? Why are the officers not doing anything about this? And again, everybody was kicking the football around. Well, DOA, it's the police's responsibility. The police would say, no, it's DOA. Like, nobody wanted to act and take any action. And finally, a Mr. Bodden, it wasn't Eric Bodden, it was another gentleman from the police department, came out with the DOA agent, examined the dog, and he said, well, this dog looks friendly. Yes, she barks, but there's nothing really amiss here. And I said, hold on a second, wait until I bring my dog outside. And all she had to do was smell the presence of my dog, not even see my dog, and she would go ballistic. And then he realized that clearly there was an issue, and the dog was temporarily removed for a number of months. Mind you, this is after 4 reported attacks. It was temporarily removed until the owners could build a containment that DOA and the police approved that they felt was finally secure enough for this dog. So what you're sharing with me, Mario, and Diane, makes absolutely no sense. Like, it just doesn't add up.
It doesn't, and that's why we've reached out to so many people. And so yesterday on Cayman 27, a statement was released. In this statement, it was also said that this statement would then come on to Cayman 27. I'm not sure if it's there, but when I checked after the programming, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
Someone did, however, send me the statement that was released by them.
Right.
On the 16th of October, like I stated, our dogs at the previous location were taken. On the 17th of October 2018, myself and Diane, we went to Eric at the DOA, and we changed, and we found out that we would need to secure our house. We secured our house, and the dogs were returned back after the DOA came and inspected it. They did not assist us with fixing the house, which is the norm. And once we had done that, they returned our dogs. We moved here at the end of, or the beginning of November, and we came to this household, and we never once heard from the DOA nor the police of a man being attacked on a bicycle. The police didn't come to our house and lodge a complaint and say such and such a person came to us and said. If there was a phone call, surely the police would have done an investigation. Surely the police would have come to us and said, hi there, there's such a whichever person was attacked by your dogs, like how they stated, and then told me, hi, and please sign this as acknowledgement of such an incident, that this is what happened. Whatever hour would have been or whatever date it would have been. And then Eric from the DOA also stated in that statement that not him, but somebody from the DOA came to our household on another occasion to the household and spoke to a gentleman, to a person. Once again, there's no statement, there's no writing, there's no proof of this. They cannot even say which person was spoken to. It's like they can just make up that there were all these occasions and all these places that happened, and then come to me on the 7th and tell me that it's my last strike and that the dogs will be taken due to all the numerous things. I must also add that on last night's programming and 2 Cayman 27, you pictured or showed a video of dogs on the road. When I questioned that, whose dogs were those, as this was too quick, you made the statement of, there was a 2015 video or DOA archive file, and it wasn't even near my household. How could you, to plead a case or to show non-biasy, show a video of dogs that did not belong to us, number one, and dogs from an archive folder from 2015? And if anybody is looking for that proof, I have that proof. It is sickening to me how the statements even that were made were just because the DOS stated that that this is what transpired, that was exactly what happened. I find it without proof and without anything or any bearing to any actual incidences that the decision that they took on Tuesday morning to kill them was valid or just. To be told on social media that the dogs were ferocious, attack people, when none of this transpired. And then to state that we surrendered them. Not him, but somebody from the DOA.
It's complete bullshit.
I don't see it anywhere.
And then that they're pit bulls, and that they're aggressive, and that they did a behavior test. What behavior test? From what animal behaviorist that they have there? A certified animal behaviorist that they have there to analyze their behavior and say that they're an aggressive dog? What, because they're pit bulls when 70% of the island's dogs are pit bulls? And where does it say in any law that you can put down a pit bull and help the Cayman Islands with their dog problem? So what, they're just gonna kill off any dog that they get in their hands?
Yeah.
I hate
So
that.
at this moment in time, guys, we've actually lost. We can't see anyone from Cayman Mall. But after today, what I do want to say to everybody, thank you so much for the support. We do. Oh, you're back again. There you go. So
we're still here.
we didn't want to go any other route but for us to have our dogs back. I don't know how many other people that this has happened to. This to me, which is totally irregular. I know that there's a drive for stray dogs on the island. These were not stray dogs. These were owned by a family. These were going to a place. What's the next step going forward? After me emailing the DOA acting director, I was told that this matter is closed. After me asking today if I could see them, I was given a statement or an email and said that they do not want to deal with this anymore. The dogs are no longer on the property, and that the matter is now officially closed. After that, I did ask if they could allow us as a family to know which day that they were put to rest. Sorry, other people wouldn't be so gentle as to say put to rest.
Yeah.
Or what day they were killed. And to let us know what other steps could be taken. I thought at least, and to be honest, I even still then drove all the way down to the landfill. I spoke to a couple of gentlemen there and another lady to ask me if I could actually find out. There was no incineration that was done today. The DOA did not hand in any dogs today. The DOA did not hand in any dogs yesterday. So either it's one of two possible things that the dogs are still there, but from what I gathered, the dogs were actually handed in or called to be picked up on Tuesday. So even after all of this and all the plea and going on Wednesday and making a statement or on Tuesday and making a statement, and in all of this still not being able to get told that sorry, but now at this time you don't have, the dogs have actually now been incinerated. So we don't have a memory of saying goodbye. We don't have a memory that we can keep on in terms of their collars. We don't have a way to go forward with it in terms of closure, but to go off what the DOA and what the police have said is that to the whole of Cayman Islands, that our dogs were attackers. To the Cayman Islands, that our dogs were ferocious when they were nothing except the opposite. You can ask so many people what type of a dog Poppy was. Poppy would go up to every single person. It was almost as if she was giving you a hug. She would wag her tail. She would never, ever harm a soul. And I can tell you that with my experience, anybody else and everybody, like as you can see, Leslie Walker just explaining what a type of dog she was. We had her for 2 years, and we didn't have any such issues except what we had with them going out of the property.
She's a little athlete. No matter what we did, she would scale 5-foot fences.
All we can say is we had really wonderful memories with them.
I wish.
I know.
I want memory.
One thing I also got to ask or say is that the DOA and the didn't have to come in today, but they were asked to come in, I believe, to at least speak with us and talk with us today. And as I've been told, that opportunity was not answered. I would have liked to have had the opportunity all the time today, and I think I will still continue to message, and regardless whether they say that it's closed, we do need to have some closure. Yes, we do have heard out today that the dogs have been taken to the landfill to be incinerated on Tuesday, and from what else we can get from this, I truly don't know. I think for me personally, and for myself and Diane as a couple, I think we need justice. And it's unfortunate that we have to now go through to the people that did this and try seek justice. So if anybody that out there does know of a way for us to actually go about this, we do have a bit of advice right now, and we think we might be taking that approach. I wouldn't like to divulge exactly what that is. Thank you, Selena. As you're stating, even under the prohibited dog regulation section 9 has very specific procedures requiring the seizure that was not followed either. So in this, we definitely want to take the steps now going forward to actually find a way to talk with the government, not government, but the police and the DOA, and and how this all went wrong. Others will be deflected and told us that we were wrong, and such and such. And if that's the case, present it to us. That's all that we've asked for. Present it to us and state it to us. I have received an email from, this is the weirdest thing. Even when going to the police and asking them if I could be accompanied to the DOA to show that it would be a peaceful matter, I was refused. This is at Georgetown Police Station. Even when I went to or requested from the media who posted that on their website, and I requested explanations as to the attacking. I requested things to I have not received any type of information. I went to them, and all that I was answered with is, "Oh, you're looking for the surrender form? Here's the surrender form, which I received yesterday." It is every bit of everything that I asked. Can we see our dogs? Can you assist in calling the director for us to view them? Yeah, exactly. Why would I just read a comment. Why would the Crown want to keep the bodies of 3 dead dogs? Exactly. They didn't want to keep them. They just took them straight away and took them to the incinerator and burnt them. If that is the policy, I don't understand why then not even get confirmation or this is the policy, and just from a human aspect, allow me to at least see them, allow me to at least say my goodbyes, like how you would to any loved one, regardless of whether they are a dog, regardless of to how you would to a loved one. Those were 3 of our dogs that were killed, and they were our loved ones. We raised 2 of them from pups, from babies, from a litter, 2 of them, and Poppy for 2 years. So for me, it's just, it's mind blowing. It's
what I don't understand at all is why they would even tell us and promise us that they would keep them safe until we put them on a plane to Canada. Why even give me that glimmer of hope?
Yeah.
Right.
And then just ignore our calls. And then when Mario says, I asked Mario, I told him I had a dream about them, and then he said he was going to go and visit them. So he calls, and that's the only reason why we found out that they were killed. They didn't message us. They didn't let us know. This whole time, I was looking into, I even got a plane ticket myself. I was looking into getting crates and putting them on a plane with me. I had all this hope. I had all this, I trusted them, and this is what I get for trusting people. Believing them.
Yeah. If I think this would have, if we weren't promised what we were promised and stated what we were stated, this would have been a completely different scenario. I think I would have, I'm sorry to say, but I think I would have stood up a little bit more to the police. I would have wanted to have understood my rights as whether it be a citizen or whatever the case may be. I was the dog. I was the owner and rightful owner of those dogs, and they had no right to come onto my property and take the 2 dogs. They had Dusty, and we could have arranged and sorted it out. They had no right to give me their form and threaten me to sign it. They had no way of me I should have just never. But now, unfortunately, there is a documentation, and I must say this to everybody: this came and was given to me yesterday, or was sent to me yesterday, only once the police had spoken to the director. And unfortunately, that's what transpired. But Diane, once again, is right. We were promised to have these dogs back in terms of going for adoption or court.
So why would they give us those two options and then just do option 3 and just kill them?
Well, what they stated was that they were of a dangerous breed.
It wasn't supposed to be an option in the first place.
And this is my biggest question in terms of this. If on the first incident where Poppy and Dusty were taken in, why were they not deemed dangerous and of a breed the first time that these dogs were taken?
Right.
These dogs were taken on a second occasion, and only at that time were they deemed. Then it shows you just that their policy is that they don't actually follow their policies, and it just goes.
It's very arbitrary.
Yeah. So Eric Bodden, like you stated, that or Mr. Brian Critchlow, if this was policies, why did the dogs on the first instance, in the first occasion, not be put down? I am completely shocked at the way that this happened. And regardless of even if they say that it was a third strike, I'm sorry, but as a human being, my third strike means that I appear in court and that I have to face charges that would be brought against me. Not third strike, sorry, DOA, dead on arrival, kill your dog. That's not the way that it goes. It's not that they are now the judge and the jury all of a sudden towards the lives of these dogs. They should be given the opportunity, like any living thing. Not that, oh, I'm sorry, we have the position now. This is where we decide to end it. Yes, I respect the DOA. Yes, I respect certain the agriculture field, but not in this way. You are doing it completely wrong. I was told by the police or the spokesperson of the police that what has transpired was fully inside the law, and that this will continue, and they will continue to partner with the DOA. I would like to make a plea to them, but it seems that it has fallen on deaf ears. See just how intimidating it is. Yes, there's a rule and policy for owners to be more responsible. Understandable. But then why not follow the measures if that was the case? Give the people the warnings. Give the people something that these events had transpired. Not just, okay, sorry, this is what we heard yesterday, and we're gonna kill your dog. So it's, or kill your dogs, my apologies. So it's like I said, it's like the judge and the jury. People should be able to defend themselves. They unfortunately don't have the right to defend themselves, but me as the owner, I should have been represented in order to do that. And it was taken right away from me by one signature, and then stating that was my surrender form, and that they didn't promise us that that I would go to court or that the dogs would go for adoption.
Unbelievable.
I'm sorry, the law, these even with them being a prohibited breed, I see numerous. I mean, there are enough pit bulls on the island.
Yes.
We were changing that. Did they look into that at all? No. Is there now a culling of these animals? Is there something that has now been proposed to make this stop? I don't know.
What I don't understand is that this all just because they got out of the fence. There was nobody, not one effing person has got bit. Not one of them has even got scratched by them. So I don't understand where them being ferocious or aggressive. Yes, they have a mean bark, and that is the most that they have because of the dogs that they are. When they bark, they look intimidating. And I tell people this: have you ever stopped and have you ever pet my dogs? Just because they bark at you, they're now ferocious, and they'll attack you. And because they're barking at you, they're attacking you. They're dangerous.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Diane, if we could wrap up here, I just want to speak to you specifically a little bit, because obviously you both have felt the loss of your extended family, these 3 dogs, very, very strongly. And I know in your particular case, you said that, it was essentially physically making you sick and you haven't been able to function. And I want people to understand that when you really love your dogs, they are your family. I mean, I've had dogs that when they passed away of natural causes, I cried like a baby because I couldn't imagine life without that animal anymore. These are people, not people, but I mean, they're dogs, but you see them every single day and they're such an important part of your life. So I just wonder if you could share just a little bit of that with our audience.
It's just really hard because, like I said, I believed in them. I trusted them, and I had thoughts of bringing them into Canada and getting them a home and everything. So that hope in me was burning, and I was gonna do all that stuff. And then I told Mario about the dream I had about them. They were cold, scared.
Well, you know what's the hardest thing, Sandy, is that Diane left and I told her that I would look after the dogs. She didn't get to say goodbye to them the way that we wanted to. I haven't slept that much. It's been like 3 days. I mean, within the last 3 or 4 days, probably about 5 hours sleep. You have them on your mind. You have that you trying your best, at least for the memory. I know in the time that we've been speaking to Diane, there's just no way to explain it. It's like exactly that of a loved one. There's no way for you to translate it, but you worry. There's no sleep. You can't eat. You can't think straight. I was looking at some of my messages. I missed out words and things. You can't. You're not concentrating. It hurts to so much and so hard, like, because you don't even have them anymore.
The last day that I saw them before I left for Canada, and I gave them a big hug and I said that I'll be back because I needed to do what I needed to do. And I waved at them in the car and we drove away, and they jumped the fence and they started chasing the car. And remember that, Mario?
Yeah.
We could see them.
And then we put them in the car. We took them down to Smith's Cove.
To the beach. I didn't know that was gonna be the last time I saw them. But it's like they knew. I haven't been able to sleep properly. I haven't been able to eat. I can barely even drink water. I've been in my bed. I'm crying in my bed. My parents are so concerned about me. And I don't even know what to do. I can't I'm supposed to be studying for my exams. I can't even do that.
Wow.
I can't do anything because I don't know what to do anymore. My plan was to bring them back, and now I don't know what to do.
And that's the thing, like that opportunity has been totally taken away. And from what we've been told, it is that the DOA are sympathetic, but that from what the laws are, we were bad owners. We did not take heed to what they had said, that we had vicious dogs, it's that I surrendered them to make to no, but this is the thing. For them to say that, it's drumming home a wrong idea to the public or to people that was how it was, when it in fact wasn't that way. And that's what hurts me personally right more, because I have people that say, how dare you? How could you have ever done that? How could you? You had a right not to.
Right.
And I had my sleepless nights thinking that my dogs could have been put down because I didn't. And that's what lies in my head. And what the world is perceiving to be is that I knew that that circumstance was going to happen. And for them to promote that and for them to say it hurts me even more because it's made me have thoughts of that I did wrong.
No.
I mean, we have one dog left, one, and now I fear by. I mean, I even brought him into our property, and this is not allowed within our current household because I have the fear that he might be taken away too, and I have the fear that he might get put down. So I'm having sleepless nights trying to still go through to work and still trying to live this life where people have said and done things that were incorrect, and now we have to suffer for it. They suffered for it, but we're still living with all of the questions and all of the doubt and still the fear if this is still going to transpire. We have one more dog, and I'm sitting here, and all I want to do right now is make sure that he actually leaves the island, and whatever we can do, that we do for the dogs that have been put to rest, the dogs that have been incinerated, the dogs, to make sure that this never happens again. I'm sorry, but DOA and the police, they acted inappropriately and not in a way. They can try change statements and do whatever they want to right now, and that just shows me what they are prepared to do in the future. But to me, none of it transpired and none of it happened. And if there was, like I said, and they could put it out in the open when this all happened. And I will fight for them. And I plead, if there is anybody out over there that can assist us in on this, if there is anybody, whether it be lawyers, and we are pleading, we are thinking that we might start up a GoFundMe page for the cause, and that cause would be for with regards to the lawyers and taking them to
change all the laws and policies and just get this fixed so that doesn't happen to anybody else.
So it doesn't happen again.
It needs to be made right.
Share your number, Mario, if there's anyone out there who can provide you with any legal advice or assistance. Can we put your number up on the screen now?
Yeah, please. Oh, you want me to do it? Yeah, I could definitely do that.
I've got it. That's fine.
Yeah. You can either reach me on Facebook.
Definitely want to take some legal action.
Would it be okay with an email address?
Yes, I can post that as well. I think I have that here. I just need to find it. But essentially, you're going to be taking legal action either way.
We will decide by tomorrow what I mean. We've been approached by a few people, and we've been told that we should definitely seek representation.
Yesterday,
and the police themselves have actually told us to seek representation.
Oh, really?
Yes. That this was on 2 occasions. They said that they are. So if we have an issue or a problem, they would advise us to seek representation.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys very, very much for joining me this evening. I know this was a super difficult conversation, but I think it's important for people to certainly understand what transpired and get the facts, straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And Diane, I'm really sorry for your loss. Mario, I'm just sorry that you guys had to go through this, and I can't even imagine it. It's just an unbelievable set of circumstances. And
thank you so much.
If what
May
you
I
said
kindly ask who drew the drawing with them? Why? It's actually pretty nice.
I had that done for our show. We do have an artist that does illustrations for us. So I really wanted to just extend
thank you. It means a lot.
Some positivity to you guys for Poppy, Karma, and Dusty, and to know that they can live on forever just in the hearts and minds of the people of this community. And really just to let you guys know that not everyone here in the Cayman Islands agrees with the decisions that have been made. There are a lot of us who love our animals, and by extension, we love to see people like you who adopt animals from the Humane Society that other people don't want. and, you know, who treat them like family and really want to take care of them. And that's why this story really touched me on a personal level. Because I was shocked when I was reading some of what has transpired. And I can tell you, as someone with a little bit of a legal background, you know, I would take I would sue them. I mean, there's no other way to say it. Like I am trying to refrain from using any profanity or anything else on this show, but I can assure you that I feel your pain, and I can imagine how pissed off you are and how hurt you are and how upset, like all of these emotions that you're going through at the moment. A lot of us can sympathize with you. So thank you again so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much. If you could be so kind, Sandy, could perhaps send that picture to us. I think it would be a nice little memento for us. Yeah, maybe sure. with the why, but thank you for the opportunity. Thank you to everyone for the support.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I wish you all had a chance to meet them and love them. And please just give all those dogs out there a chance. Poppy was in Humane Society for 2 years and nobody loved her, but when we took her out, she was the most loving dog ever. And Dusty and Karma, their mother was beaten and bred until nothing. They were left in the dirt. We just had to take them to save them. So please rescue, please. They all deserve love. They all deserve a chance. Give them that chance.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot. Okay, Mario. Diane, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And guys, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Just to really just say a prayer. I know these dogs have, you know, gone to doggy heaven, but this is just so wrong on a number of different levels. And I'm just shocked, and you know, I don't even know what else to say. But we're gonna play a little song here. This is Puff Daddy, I'll Be Missing You. We started this as the intro, and I just want to leave this as the outro for a program this evening. Please share this video. It's going to be on our Facebook page. We will also have it on YouTube by tomorrow. You know, make this go viral. This is the kind of behavior that we cannot accept from people in power. They cannot just take your dogs. They can't not follow correct procedure. They can't, you know, lie to you, change police statements, not notify you of what's going on. Those things are wrong, and they're wrong on from a moral perspective, and they're also legally wrong as well. You know, people have rights and their procedures and stuff that have to be followed when you're a government agency or you work on behalf of the Cayman Islands government and you have this kind of power. So this isn't going to stop here. I think there has to be some sort of justice out of this situation. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Remember, the program is every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. sharp. I'll see you guys again next week, Tuesday.
Still a team. Through your family, I'll fill your dreams. In the future,